If you have watched every anime that you see on screen right now, then this video is for you. I'm Unseen Whispers, and this is 5 Isekai anime that you haven't watched. Maybe. But since you're such an Isekai connoisseur, let's see if you can guess what waifu this is. Number 1. Kyosu Giga. Once upon a time, there was a priest who enjoyed drawing, and everything he drew came to life. One of his particular drawings, a black rabbit named Koto, fell in love with him, and with some supernatural help, this rabbit was transformed into a human. And she's looking mighty fine, if you ask me.
Excuse me? What did you say?
That you're the most beautiful woman I've ever laid eyes on?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, over time, Koto's love for the priest became mutual, and they started a family together which included 3 children. On a day like any other, a message arrived from the high priest claiming the drawings are getting out of control, so they must be destroyed. Instead of throwing away his family, the monk decided they would all run away together into the world of one of his drawings known as the Looking Glass. In this world, Koto and the priest lived a happy and peaceful life, but all of a sudden they left, leaving the 3 children all alone to watch over their father's creation. Now, this anime truly begins whenever a young girl who is mysteriously named Koto crashes down into the Looking Glass, claiming she has come to search for the original Black Rabbit. If you can't tell from the description, this anime is not exactly your typical isekai, and it's not an anime to casually put on in the background. The story is very intricate, and honestly, it can be downright confusing. Instead of being your standard linear story, Kyosu Giga slowly gives you bits and pieces of information through a mix of present-day scenes and flashbacks. It's kinda like building an arch. You can watch it slowly take form, but it doesn't truly work until you find that center keystone to fit it all together. I know this probably isn't everyone's type of anime, but I highly recommend giving it a try. Number 2. The Silver Guardian. Our protagonist Sugin attends Shinru Private Academy, but he has little to no money to his name, so he works multiple part-time jobs in order to afford the tuition. He spends all of his free time outside of work, and sometimes during work, playing his favorite online game, Dungeon Century. Now, one day at work, Sugin winds up almost drowning, but luckily enough, he is saved by the most popular girl in school, Rei Riku. Sugin is now torn between the 2 girls he loves, his online female friend, and the school idol Rei. Now, sadly, Dungeon Century gets shut down, but this causes him to realize that his online female friend and Rei Riku are actually the same person. Now, before they are able to live happily ever after, Rei gets kidnapped, and Sugin is magically transported into the new world of Gravebuster. Now, our brave protagonist must conquer the many challenges Gravebuster has to offer if he wants to save the beautiful Rei Riku. Now, does the Silver Guardian have anything unique or noteworthy about it? Nope. It's just your typical knight in shining armor goes to rescue a damsel in distress type of story. Some might even go as far to call this anime a dumpster fire. But just like every other dumpster fire, it does have some funny and cool moments which can make it worth watching. You should know it has a slow start, and the first 12 episodes are only 13 minutes apiece, making this 18 episode long anime actually equivalent to a standard 12 episode anime. But you might as well give it a try because there's definitely worse anime out there. Number 3. Caligula. Your perception is more or less your reality, and Ritsu is currently living a happy, normal life. As expected of someone his age, Ritsu attends school on a daily basis and hangs out with his friends in his free time. He also just so happens to be a fan of the popular idol Mew. And while listening to Mew's newest song, Ritsu hears a moment of static and a girl's voice cry out for help. After hearing this voice, Ritsu begins to notice all sorts of discrepancies throughout his daily life, and it's almost as if that voice awakened him to reality. Then during a school event, Ritsu stands up and speaks out against one of these discrepancies. But upon hearing this, some of his classmates immediately transform into monsters known as Digiheads, whose sole purpose is to eliminate anyone who has truly awakened. Ritsu, alongside a few other students who have also awakened, attempt to escape the city, but they quickly find out that they are currently stuck inside a virtual world. These students must team up and fight back against Mew in order to escape this digital world. So yeah, this is basically just an anime version of The Matrix. If I'm being honest, I haven't finished Caligula, or The Matrix for that matter, but I am really enjoying it. Personally, I'm a fan of the animation style, and simulation theory is always an interesting topic to think about. I recommend you ignore the rating on this one and give Caligula a chance. I mean, what do you have to lose? Everything we know could just be a computer simulation anyways. Number 4. Shining Tears and Wind. Soma and Kuriha are two normal high school students living on a completely normal Earth just like ours. One day, while they are waiting for their friends, a wild beast man appears and begins rampaging around the school. If that wasn't weird enough, a girl with cat ears named Mao shows up and is trying to subdue this beast man all on her own. Soma and Kuriha team up with Mao, but during the battle, Mao gets scratched, which causes all three of them to be transported into another world. This story primarily follows Soma and Kuriha as they search for a way to return home to Earth. Shining Tears and Wind is a little older, so at the time of its release this may not have been true, but as of right now, this anime is hands down the most generic and cliché isekai that I have ever watched. Seriously, every cliché the isekai genre is known for can and will be found in this anime. The only way I can think to describe my feelings for this anime would be that it's so bad, it's almost good. Wow, this turned out kinda short, so let's take this time to inform you that I officially have a Patreon. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you to go sign up, but if you want to support the channel directly, you now have a way to do it. If you don't want to, that's fine, just click the subscribe button and we'll call it even. Number 5. End Ride. Who could have guessed that we once again follow another teenage student, but this time he has a fascination for crystals. Shun Asanaga is planning to have dinner with his family, but his father is still at work. Shun decides that he's going to go to his father's office and drag him back home if he has to. Though upon arriving at the office, his father is nowhere to be found, but he does notice an interesting looking crystal. Shun begins to inspect the crystal. Wait, what's this? All of a sudden he gets transported into another world? Wow, I'm sure none of us saw that coming. So when he comes to, he is in the middle of a dungeon where a prince of the kingdom is currently being held captive. It turns out the prince is the rightful heir to the throne, but he was locked up after failing to kill his evil stepfather, the king. Some guards come to investigate the commotion, but of course our protagonist has a powerful weapon which he easily uses to defeat them. This anime follows Shun as he looks for a way to get back home to Earth, all the while helping the prince take down the king. If you haven't watched this anime, then ask yourself this. Do you tend to enjoy simplistic and to-the-point characters inside of a generic isekai setting? If you answered yes to that, then you might like this anime. So, were you able to guess what waifu this is? It's Petralka from Outbreak Company. Oh, what's that? You've watched all of these? Well, this is awkward. How about you go watch my other video simply titled 5 Anime You Haven't Watched. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope to see you next time.